Christian. In my heart, Lord, I want to be a Christian in my heart. In my heart, in my heart, Lord, I want to be a Christian in my heart. Lord, I want to be more loving in my heart, in my heart. Lord, I want to be more loving in my heart, in my heart, in my heart. Lord, I want to be more loving in my heart.
Let us take a moment to pause, to reflect, to breathe in and out. God is with you. Always. Always. Always with you. Be comforted by that reality. Be comforted. February is Black History Month, a time when we celebrate the success, resilience, and continued contributions of Black people in this country. This month, I wanted to focus on spirituals for the midweek moments during this month of February. The spirituals were songs of lament, of resilience, of hope, of pain, and cries of injustice, of torture. Many were written by enslaved persons that were crying out in song because their lives were not valued. Their bodies were tortured. Their dignity was not even noticed. Many shared stories. Some even communicated with others in discreet ways through spirituals, ways that their enslavers would not understand or be capable of understanding. Many times people will say that singing the spirituals brings them joy. But friends, we must not only sing spirituals to get joy from them. We must not take from them only the emotion of joy without understanding the immense pain that they experienced, enslaved persons experienced when writing and singing these songs of resilience. It is important as a person who is a white male to name that those of us who are white should be feeling this way as we encounter spirituals, especially in worship. It is not for our joy. It is not for our hope. but it is in memory and in honor of those who have lost so much, who have been mistreated, who experienced the unthinkable. We pause for a moment to consider the harm of those that were enslaved, that they experienced day by day, and to pray that we never repeat that harm as a society. May justice come for those families who have been harmed through the actions of enslavers towards their families that have been enslaved. Today I wanted to take a moment to focus on the spiritual. Lord, I want to be a Christian. Eileen Gunther shares in her book, in their own words, Slave Life and the Power of Spirituals, that the recurring text, "in my heart," may reasonably be seen as a statement against the hypocrisy of the slave owners who said one thing and treated their slaves badly and brutally. That the owners who go to church on Sunday morning and even served communion to their slaves can turn around and beat them that afternoon or the next day is a brutal irony. Gunther also shares that the phrase "in my heart," which is repeated many times throughout this spiritual, may indicate that this was sung in a call-response manner, allowing a single voice to vary the text slightly for each stanza, while those assembled join in on sections that remained constant throughout all stanzas. C. Michael Hahn shares that the apparent use of the first person I in "I want to be" in spirituals, or in this spiritual in particular for today's context, equals "we" in the communal African cultural context. As he shares that John Lovell Jr. shares that the "I" of a spiritual is not a single person. It is every person who sang then, everyone who has been oppressed, and therefore every slave everywhere. I invite you to look up a spiritual that speaks to you, that you might identify with or may be familiar with, and to learn its history, maybe a few. There are so many stories and experiences, and they are important to realize and to lament. I thank you for sharing this time with me. I cannot imagine the pain, the heartache, the trauma of those enslaved, just as all of us who are white cannot. But what we can do is to learn, listen, and to discover the stories of those who have carried forth their light in their bleakest, in moments that should never have occurred. Moments when they were enslaved. May we share their stories and learn from them and learn about them And may we never forget the pain, the injustice, the harm that has occurred as enslaved people were seen as property and less than human. May we work so that we never repeat anything close to the atrocity of enslavement, of this action and many other atrocities that happen in our world that have caused harm to so many. Never let our history as a country, as a people, as a world who have caused harm get erased and never be convinced to move on from it. We must never forget these tremendous and horrible actions of harm. These horrific actions that caused trauma and still traumatize many beloved children of God to this day. Many ancestors that were enslaved and many families who are still traumatized to this day. May we work towards supporting systems that value educating people about history, especially Black history. History that never must be forgotten or rewritten in a desire to whitewash it. Think about that this day, this week as Black History Month continues. May it be so.
I want to be more holy in my heart, Lord, I want to be more holy in my heart, in my heart. Lord, I want to be more holy in my heart. Lord, I want to be like Jesus in my heart, Lord, I want to be like Jesus in my heart, in my heart, in my heart. Lord, I want to be like Jesus in my heart, in my heart, in my heart. Lord, I want to be like Jesus my heart